The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Harris breaks with Biden over garbage comment about Trump supporters have their reluctance to distance herself.
President Biden put his comment last night about garbage.
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not.
Are you saying that Joe Biden is not a president for all Americans, whether you vote for him or not? Is that what you're saying? Like, there's so much that's wrong with this. Republicans tried and failed to claim that Democrats' rhetoric on Trump led a registered Republican shooting Trump, okay? This was a moment where Dems didn't back down and showed how silly it is for Republicans to cry bully the Dems. Now they're caving on the cynical framing on the issue of garbage, like on the Biden garbage issue. Okay. I'm sorry for getting mad at her for this is stupid. She just had a huge speech about unity and Biden undermined that even though he's right. But of course she's going to say this after that speech last night. No, it's bad. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea for two reasons. Number one, it's a bad idea because you're trying to win an election. It's dumb to try and do a unity thing when the other side is never saying unity. The other side is saying, we're going to kill you. And you're over here being like, no, we're going to unite with them. You're dumb. That's number one. Number two, what have I told you guys about the Sister Soldier moment that Bill Maher was asking for from Kamala Harris? It is a bad PR strategy to adopt the cynical framing that your opponent is cry bullying you over. You are giving them a victory. Whether you agree with the sentiment or not does not matter, okay? When you say something like this is what's going to lead the news cycle now. Ooh, there's division between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Like, it's dumb. It's so dumb. The smart thing to do in this situation from a communication strategy is to turn around and be like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, there hasn't been a day that has gone by when Donald Trump hasn't said that he wants to use the military on American citizens that he does not like.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
That is garbage. And if you believe that, you got garbage beliefs. That's it. Move the conversation back. Put the Republicans on defense. That's what you're supposed to do. There is no reason to be like, here's the real situation. Here's what's going on. I don't agree. I'm going to be the president for all Americans. Like, Republicans never say that. Yeah, Mike Lee, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, when President Biden called Trump supporters garbage moments ago, did he mean older people like my parents or younger people like my children, nephews, and nieces? Also, are just men garbage or my wife and sister garbage too? I said, yes, if they're voting for Trump, they're all garbage. The whole deplorable thing worked out really well. Like, what are we doing here? We have to be so courteous to the whims of like some of the dumbest people on the planet, dude. Get the out of here. Why are we being held hostage by these dip? Why? This is some loser, okay? This is loser, dude. This is straightforward loser. What the? I'm showing you an example where the Democratic Party across the board did not actually back down. Remember, Donald Trump gets shot in the ear, grazed in the ear, okay? Republicans immediately come out and they're like, I can't believe you're running a campaign against a guy who just got shot. How dare you do this? I can't believe your violent rhetoric against Donald Trump being a fascist is the reason why a registered Republican shot at him, right? And everybody was like, come on, dude. Have you heard Donald Trump speak at a rally? You really think the Democrats are using violent rhetoric here? Get the out of here. And what happened? What happened when the Democrats actually had some backbone? What happened when the Democrats demonstrated a little bit of backbone where they're like, violence is never acceptable, but we all know who's actually doing the politically violent rhetoric, okay? It's the Republicans forever, and especially in this news cycle. You got dumbass Republican terrorists like lighting ballot boxes on fire, shooting at Kamala Harris's campaign office in Arizona, okay? You got all this happening. You have a Florida man who's in jail after threatening Kamala Harris supporters with a machete outside of a polling place. Police say Caleb Williams, a Trump supporter, aggressively brandished a weapon towards two women aged 71 and 54 outside of the Jacksonville Public Library. And these dumb they're like, oh, I can't believe Joe Biden called it trash. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Trash should be criticized on the virtues that it's like not enough. Okay. People should be saying that Joe Biden's statements were not aggressive enough for the moment. We can't attack that person for calling Puerto Rico garbage. And at the same time, we call all the Republicans garbage while trying to court their vote. It would be hypocritical. No, not that I agree with them trying to court Republicans. No, you're trying to separate the Republicans you're courting from Donald Trump. Okay. You are trying to separate the Republicans that you're courting from Donald Trump. In that circumstance, saying you don't want to be like that guy or his supporters is valid, okay? You're not trying to court the Republicans who are going to vote for Donald Trump into voting for you. That's not going to work. You're just saying nice things about people who are not going to vote for you, who think you're a low IQ Samoan Malaysian, as Tucker Carlson said.
It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan Malaysian low IQ former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support.
What the There is an election happening, guys. What are we doing? It's in 6 days. Wake up. I don't know if you know this, but the election is against Donald Trump.
Separates us, and that most people want a president that understands that gets that, and approaches their role of leadership that way. I've been very clear from my earliest years.
This is a bad tactic. I think the best possible thing to do in this situation is deflect. Do you not have a comms guy? Oh my God. Do you not have a single intelligent PR person in your background? I know you do. There is 0% chance you don't have one person who was like, ma'am, I think the best possible thing to do in this situation is just to switch the conversation back to the violent rhetoric that we hear from the Trump Republicans on a regular basis. Donald Trump hasn't had a single day where he has gone to a political rally and said, I like the Democrats. Some of them are very fine. Every single day, he does 2 rallies a day. And at every single rally, he's like, I'm going to kill Democrats. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them dead. I'm going to use the military. I'm going to use the police. We're going to lock them up. We're going to execute people. We're going to kill brown people. We're going to put them in concentration camps. And then, God forbid, someone goes, hey, that was pretty trashy. I think that's trash. You know, I think that's pretty trash. God forbid. Holy moly, dude.
Meanwhile, before the shirt talk, you heard Lawrence talking about it. The White House now.
Dude, they're loving it, dude. It's like the most minor sentiment, and it is so appropriate, and it's so valid. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say it's appropriate. I think it's inappropriate in the opposite direction. It's not enough, okay? Garbage is not enough to describe Trump's policies, Trump's attitude, Trump's hatred. It's not enough. You're underselling it. And they are just going nutty mode over it. They're like, oh, thank God we caught it. An example I will use is a very famous case of Alabama's failed Senate runner-up, Roy Moore. Roy Moore, after being an Alabama Supreme Court judge for years, ran for the senatorial seat in the Senate race. Roy Moore was always trash. He was a psychopathic right-wing Christo-fascist, a Christian nationalist charlatan. Roy Moore also happened to be someone who predated on young women. And at that time, when every single person was like, oh my God, he was literally banned from his own local mall in Alabama because he was trying to young girls there, like underage girls, okay? Underage girls, minors. How the can you vote for this guy when that was the main point of contention, okay? What did the Republicans do? Not only did they defend Roy Moore and his pedophilia, they turned around and said, well, the Democrats are sex pests too. And they looked far and wide to find anything that they could hold on to. And hold on to it they did. They found Al Franken. And they started saying, oh, you guys like Roy Moore? Well, what about Al Franken? Roy Moore had been a serial pedophile, okay? Like a blight on Alabama. A blight on Alabama in terms of pedophilia. So much so that, I repeat once again, he was not allowed to go to his local mall because they were like, dude, what the are you doing? He was trying to prey on the young girls at the local mall. He could not go to his local mall. That's the degree of pedophilia that Roy Moore was operating on. Republicans turned around and said Al Franken did a bit where he fake grabbed the boobs of his co-host over a military vest. His co-host was at the time a Republican commentator. She said initially that it was inappropriate. All hell broke loose. They immediately were like, boom, these two things are the same. Okay? These two things are the exact same. And the Democrats turned around and clapped Al Franken. He turned around and said, yes, Al Franken is we got to get him out of here. They ate the bait. They ate the bait. Al Franken, not the best guy. Al Franken certainly did inappropriate to women. I'm not even saying that that's not the case. But if you want to understand the double standards in this circumstance, if you want to understand how this works, recognize that Republicans will get hit on for doing like the worst unimaginable thing possible. And they'll turn around and be like, well, Democrats do it too. And these dumbass Democrats will cave immediately, okay? It is incredibly frustrating to watch this play out every single day. It is incredibly frustrating to watch this unfold again and again and again and again. It is such an obvious, cynical deployment of no you, like a child. You cannot play by the rules that the Republican Party sets for you, okay? When they say no you, you're supposed to do what the Republicans do. That's why they win. Like, look at this. This is America PAC, Elon Musk's PAC.
This ad contains multiple instances of the C word. Viewer discretion.
Let me guess. The C word is what they're calling her is a commie, but they are basically trying to say, you know, the other C word.
Advised. Kamala Harris is a C word. You heard that right. A big old C word. In fact, all of the other C words think she's the biggest C word of them all. That's right, she's a tax-hiking, regulation-loving, gun-grabbing communist. And the worst part, she's proud of it.
Yeah, that's the whole point, dude. Yeah, they're invoking the word, but not saying it, but kind of saying it.
Harris, the C word America simply can't afford.
Yeah, I wish she was a communist. Yeah, also, why is there a meow here?
Loving, gun-grabbing communist.
Yeah, I wonder what they're trying to say with this ad. It's communist, no? Yes, dude, the C word is communism. Why are they playing a cat? Is it because the word cat starts with a C? Or is it because they want plausible deniability while basically pointing to calling her as a joke? It doesn't matter, but come on, don't be stupid. Oh my God, the crying campaign returns. Okay, we got to do a little peep into Ben Shabibo. Just a little bit. I need to see what he's going to say. Predict what he's going to say. He's going to say what everyone has been saying. This is Hillary Clinton's deplorable moments, but for Joe Biden, it's completely unconscionable and unacceptable to call half of the country, 700 million Americans, garbage. You're saying that nurses are garbage. You're saying that your loved ones are garbage. You're saying that mothers of 3 children, all of which were orphaned, are garbage. Okay? It's completely unacceptable. These elitist Democrats are so out of touch with the way that the middle America really believes and the things that middle America wants. You're saying that they're garbage because they want stronger borders and not be mass by Guatemalan migrants, you know, which is real and it's happening.
What if I told you the president, who's the head of a party, who's labeled Donald Trump a Nazi and his rally on Sunday a Nazi rally, called half of Americans garbage? Because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because it's true, bitch. It's true. Brandon was right, and he should say it. I'm riding with Biden so hard, dog. Straight up.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Tina is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Okay, the only garbage I see out there is his supporters. Inflection down. End of sentence. Okay, it's clear what he's saying. He's saying that you, if you support Donald Trump, are garbage. He's saying that I am garbage. Everyone who does not support Kamala Harris is garbage. His supporters, Donald Trump's, are garbage. That is the direct quote from Joe Biden. That's what the quote is. There is no other way to read it. But don't worry, the media are going to do their work. The media are going to pretend, I kid you not, that there was an apostrophe in that sentence. Now,
I thought it was such a weak way to respond to this, by the way. I really do. I really thought that was like a cowardly way to respond to it. And now, of course, the losers are just going crazy over it, you know?
Because she's afraid of Joe Biden and she's afraid of the base of the Democratic Party, who actually do believe that Trump supporters are garbage.
Yeah, because they are. You are.
And play the clip. You decide whether there's an apostrophe in the sentence. And he's talking about singular Tony Hinchcliffe with an apostrophe.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Why would he even say his supporters? Why wouldn't he just say Tony Hinchcliffe's or the comedians?
Not only did the campaign invite him, but also read through his statements and even offered some feedback on what he said that was a bridge too far, like calling Kamala Harris that was enough. That was not acceptable. Implying that they saw the Puerto Rico joke and were like, that's hilarious. Let's keep it going. Maybe also because a lot of the things that Tony Hinchcliffe said in his supposed stand-up bit was, things that are in line with the things that Trump and Trump's supporters believe.